We gave my tired dad hoodie to a homeless man. Welcome to episode 15 of the Tired Dad podcast.
Is it episode 15?
Episode 15.
Nice.
We did one where we was away, and then we've had a few weeks off because where have we been?
Everywhere.
We've been everywhere. We haven't been everywhere, but we've been travelling, haven't we?
We've travelled the east coast of America. Well, the north.
We did the
Coast.
south in the 6 weeks holiday, didn't we, in the summer? Now we've done the north. So we've literally done the whole of the east coast.
Apart from a bit further north, like Boston and all that.
Yeah, but there ain't much going on up there.
No, it's just cold.
It's cold. So we've done most of the east coast, and we're really happy to be back on our podcast, aren't we?
For sure.
We're very excited. So,
Especially for the new year.
Yeah, especially for the new year. It was nice to have that week away between Christmas and New Year, and we celebrated New Year's Eve in New York, didn't we?
Yeah.
But let's not talk about that because it's
apparently
it's Monday blues today.
Blue Monday.
Blue Monday.
Yeah.
And we don't want to rub it in with everyone, but Blue Monday, what is that?
The most depressing Monday of the year.
Isn't that a mindset thing though?
It is, but I think it's just generally because of the time of year. No one's got any money. The weather's rubbish, especially in the UK. It's grey, it's misty, it's foggy.
We've come back and it is grey, misty, foggy, wet. And we don't mind cold because it was -6 at some parts in Washington and the Outer Banks. But here, -6, cold, dark, damp, wet, foggy.
We had 25 days away and 24 of them were blue sky.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
So this Blue Monday pairs up with, if you live in the UK, it's not a nice Monday to be in, is it?
No.
And I actually feel like a lot of dads, even though it's Blue Monday, I feel like a lot of dads go through Blue Monday quite on a regular basis throughout the week.
I think it probably starts that Sunday night blues that you used
Do
to
you
get
remember
before
that
school.
feeling?
Yeah.
Oh, that Sunday night feeling before school where you...
Before work.
Yeah. We used to have it a lot when we used to work in education, didn't we? Sunday night, we're back at work tomorrow. We don't get it much now.
Well, mine would start on like a Sunday morning because I had work to do ready for Monday. So Sunday blues wouldn't just be Sunday night blues, it'd be Sunday all day.
You have to be extra, don't you, and have the whole Sunday of blues. We don't get it now because obviously we're both working. We're flexible with our work. So how do dads overcome blues generally?
Interesting question.
I'm going to answer it by cutting it all up into segments because I like to dissect. Now, if you're a dad watching this and you're going through the Monday blues, or if you're just generally not going through a good period of time, maybe you're going through a testing time, maybe you're going through an emotional time, maybe you're going through a bit of a mental health dark down, thinking 2025 is not started great, it's going to be a hard 2025. We're going to give you some practical tips in taking control, taking structure. We're going to talk about what we do individually and as a family. And I hope this episode really gives you some encouragement that you can take control and realistically direct the path for yourself.
Control what you can, let go of what you can't is one of your pinnacles of what you try and teach, isn't it?
Definitely.
Because there's always going to be things in life that you can control, that you have some impact or energy over, and then there's going to be things that you have absolutely no control over. And I think we've learned that over the years that you can't sweat the stuff that you've got no control over, and look, being becoming like people of faith again, I suppose you want to call it, Christians or whatever your faith is, you give it to God. You always say that, don't you? That he's always got your back, and you don't have to worry. But even if you're not a person of faith, there are so many things in life that you waste time on worrying about. People lose sleep over it. I was talking to my mum the other day because my mum came to church with us on Sunday, and I spoke to her a little bit after about how did it impact her, how did she feel about it, and she said, it's made me think I don't need to worry about as much as I do. She said I lose sleep over the minute.
And your mum hasn't generally got nothing to worry about.
No, she's retired. She's not in the best of health, but generally her life isn't stressful.
And she obviously, since your dad passed away, mentally she's not been the best.
But day to day, she doesn't have money worries. She doesn't have, security worries. She's safe. She likes where she lives. So she's got all of her basic needs. She's got family. She's got friends. So. Realistically, from somebody else's point of view, she hasn't got anything to worry about, but those worries can get in, can't
they? Yeah. And that leads nicely onto, I call it first world problems, because I think a lot of us worry about first world problems, and a lot of it can be stress from debt. A lot of it I think a lot of dads go through financial stress. A lot of it can be relationship, family stress. And they are first world problems, because let's think about it. Let's talk about that guy that we met in the middle of nowhere. So we were driving from South Carolina back to Virginia, and we take tolls off the sat-nav, don't we?
Yep.
So we see the scenic route of America, and we happened to pass through this small town. I wouldn't even know where it was now, would you? I only know because I paid for a coffee, and I'll tell you why in a minute. That's how I know where it was. And as we passed one of these small towns, we went slowly through, and we passed this centre, didn't we? Which was like it said a Christian Relief Centre, was it?
Yeah. We noticed this guy. He was a bit bedraggled, but we couldn't really see much of it. But it was really early in the morning, wasn't it? Because we left super early. So, and I remember looking out the window, and I saw the inscription on the door. It said that it was a Christian relief centre or support centre, and I said to you, that man's trying to get in there, not break in, but he was trying to see if it was open.
And I said to you, he's a homeless man, and we'd passed it by then. And then I just did a big U-turn, didn't I? And I did a U-turn, pulled up beside him, and he looked like I was going to jack him up. But when I first pulled up, he looked frightened, didn't he? And I said, "You all right, man?" And he was like,
he didn't have anything, did he?
He had a brown suit on which didn't fit him. He had a vest on. Now, bear in mind, guys, it was -2, wasn't it, that morning? He had shoes that didn't fit. His laces were all undone. He had no socks.
He had no hat.
He had no hat,
coat.
no gloves, no coat, or anything like that. I said, "You're hungry? You want some food?" He was like, "Yeah." I couldn't understand. He mumbled a lot. He was quite old, about 60, would you say?
Older than that.
Older than that, maybe 70. And so it just so happens, Emmy had got a cake given to her when we was in one of these restaurants that we went to the night before.
We hadn't eaten it.
No, so we had this massive cake. So we gave him that. We had some water. We gave him that. We had just stopped off at Dunkin' Donuts.
So we gave him the donuts.
So we gave him a few of our donuts as well.
And you got him a bag, didn't you?
I got him a bag and filled it all up and stuff like that. And then I was about to drive off, and you were like, "He needs clothes or something." And I was like, "Do you want a hat?" And he was like, "Yeah." So in the end, I gave him my tired, which is why I haven't got my tired dad hoodie. So I gave him my hoodie. And then I don't know what, I just didn't feel like we were doing enough, did we? So then I was like, I'm going to go buy him a coffee. So then I went down the road, bought him a coffee. And as I parked in the coffee shop to get the coffee, and as I walked back out, he was walking down it was on the bridge with the sun. It was really nice. Well, it wasn't a really nice warm day. The sun was out, but it was cold. So he was trying to get the sun off on his face, wasn't he? And I remember giving him the coffee. Now, before that, he was saying things like, "Where are you from? Who are you?" And he started crying, didn't he, and stuff like that. You're getting choked up, Mrs. Ross?
No. It was just a very humbling moment, and we're not singing our own praises really. Look at us, we're such good do-gooders.
No.
To see somebody really at the depths of despair, I would say, look, had to have
third
absolutely
world
nothing.
Problems. And we stood at the side, didn't we? We prayed with him. And
he was so grateful.
And he tried to give me this. I don't know if it was a watch. It looked like a timer off something, like, I don't know, a gas can. I don't know what it was. But
he obviously felt indebted to you.
Yeah, and he went to give me something. And I was like, no, it's fine, leave it. And he just kept saying, didn't he?
Probably in his situation, he doesn't get something without giving something.
Yeah.
So
but he just kept saying, who are you? Who are you? Didn't he? He's like, why me? And all that sort of thing. And we got upset, didn't we, about it? Because it's scary to think in this day and age that there's people out there like that. And I remember our daughter who's only 8 in the back going, now she's watched us over those last few weeks give stuff. We've bought people coffee, haven't we? We've bought homeless people food. We just generally do that now, don't we? It's a natural thing of like, and that's not, again, we're not bragging, but we generally want to show our daughter that we can make a difference, can't we?
And interestingly, the first time that we went back to church after 3 weeks, that was the theme of the pastor's sermon, wasn't it? Basically, it was about the joy of giving and where do you get your joy from, and it is actually by serving God and serving others and giving. And I know we keep talking about it, but every week it's just spot on, isn't it, to something that's happened to us that week or that, that.
And the reason why we say this is because sometimes you've got to put your own life in respect of, is it that bad? Is the situation like your mother-in-law, is it that bad? Yes, you might be anxious about work. Yes, you might be anxious about, not having access to your children, which is a big thing to worry about. And yes, that pain of missing your children can be hard, or you might be on the brink of relationship breakdown and things might not be going your way. But I'm a big believer that if you can take control or even if you can see some light at the end of the tunnel, that's the stepping stone to creating more changes. And I think sometimes we just got to put realism, haven't we, in the game and say, like, is it that bad? Am I -2 standing outside a Christian shop retreat centre that's not going to open on a Sunday, in my suit with no socks, hungry and cold, lonely, upset, and some guy's just going to come along and help me? Is it that bad?
Everyone's problems are all relative, and we're not sitting here trying to demean anybody's problems at all. But one piece of advice that we will say is you will find joy in helping others in some small way. It doesn't have to be monetary. It could be time. It could be going and volunteering, going and doing it. It could be something very, very minor.
And it then puts your issue into a bit of a bigger picture, so to speak, that you're not so microscoped on your little issue that's going on. Now, and the reason why we mention this, because one of the things you can do is take control. Number one, take control of your actions. What can I do to make my situation better? A lot of the time we wallow in it. We let anxiety build in it. There's a saying, action beats anxiety. So what action can you do in order to overcome anxiety? Go for a walk, go to the gym, take control, go and face the problem. If it's a discussion you need to have with your wife or spouse, if you need to get access to your child, do you need to go to court system? Do you need to do some paperwork? Do you need to get someone to help? What action are you doing to take control? Because most of the time we give our power away by not taking control, don't we? And now you might say, well, that homeless man, he could take control. Well, maybe I will say this: God's divine timing was there. And if you've ever had a moment where you think that shouldn't have happened and it did, divine intervention, whatever you want to call it, like I believe, like last year, 2023, 2024, there was many divine interventions that steered me back into my family home. And I'm a true believer of that. And so you've really got to start taking control of the situation that you're in. That's number one. And
if you feel like your head's in a fuzz, which a lot of us do, and you know, your mind's all over the place, do a bit of a brain dump and write a list, a very, very simple list of things you can control and things you can't. And then prioritize the things that you can. And you've got to learn to let go of the things that you can't. And again, the whole giving aspect puts you in a state of gratitude, and it really does make you realise how grateful you should be for all of the blessings that you do have, because a lot of the time we're blessed and we don't even see it.
Definitely. So we can take control, number one. Number two, talk. I think a lot of dads, and this is why I set up the Tired Dad community, a lot of dads are so blocked and in their own thoughts, in their own head, in their own box, that they feel no one cares, because obviously the people that they should care probably have told them they don't care, like their ex-wives or their wives or their girlfriends or their kids or whatever. So, and I feel they feel like they're cut off. I feel like they're stuck in a rut. And just talking to someone, whether they're in the same situation than you or not, whether they're advanced far ahead of you and been through what you've been through, whatever, just talking about it helps. This is why I interview dads, because sharing same experiences can encourage other dads.
Offloading is so important.
Offloading, definitely. So I think offloading and talking to someone, communicating, we've got control, then we communicate, and sharing with other dads is a massive key, isn't it?
Internalising everything is very painful. I don't know if you've ever done it. I've definitely done it.
I think many dads do.
It manifests in you being unwell, you know, and if your avenue is talking, or your avenue is, you talked about exercising and moving your body, and that can be a stress relief. We talked about that before. Having some kind of outlet for your upset, for your annoyance, for your anger, for your hurt. It's got to come out.
Definitely. Otherwise, if you internalise it, it's going to eat you up.
It will destroy you.
So we've got control. We've got to communicate. And then number three, I think you've got to commit. You've got to commit to taking action. Haven't you? Because it's all right taking control of it and saying, okay, I know it's happening.
For one day.
And it's all right, I know it's going on, I know something's going on, or whatever the situation you're in, and you're controlling it for one day, but you've got to commit to beating it every day. Haven't you? If you want to make changes, you got to control, you got to communicate, and then you got to commit to the decision you've made. Because a lot of the time we, like fitness, you commit to one day and then you give up on the next day and then you'll start Monday. Like saving money, I'll save money 1 month, but then not the other month. If you ever do social media content, you've got to commit to posting every day. If you want to make money online, you've got to commit to posting every day and doing content and things like that. So,
well, anything that's going to eventually be successful has come from a pattern of
commitment,
consistency, hasn't it?
Yeah, consistent and commitment. So
and that applies to everything, doesn't it?
Definitely. So you've got to commit to making changes, commit to taking action, commit to saying no more of me sulking and being old me, but committing to being new me. Yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
And last but not least, I'm going to leave to you. What's number 4?
Oh, I don't know.
We've got control. We've got communication.
I feel like I've got to think of something beginning with C now.
I think you should. Come on, vocab English teacher.
Creativity.
Creative, okay. Explain.
Doing something that you haven't done before.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say
because if you do what you've always done, that old saying, then you'll get what you've always got.
Yep. So you've got to be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think outside the box of things that you could do. Perhaps it might be a new hobby. It might be something as little as, somebody invites you out to join a new hobby or a new group. One of the ladies from church invited me to one of her life groups, and instantly my reaction is no. No, I'm good. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Putting yourself out of your comfort zone is one of the best things you can do in life.
I think also it becomes a challenge. And I think if you take on something that's new, that's creative, that's new to you, like new hobby, new experiences.
It could be as simple as on Saturday, I decided to go cook a soup that I'd never cooked before, and it's very minor. It doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but I was sure that this year I was going to be a thing of I'm just going to implement and try new things that I haven't done before.
Yep, and look at it.
Yeah, and it does bring a lot of joy.
It does bring a lot of joy, definitely. We've made a big commitment and we've been creative with home educating our daughter. And that's a massive change, isn't it? That's a massive
our whole
challenge.
Life style and our whole routine has been turned sort of up on its head.
And we'll do a different podcast on
We're refiguring it. We're just readjusting, aren't we?
And I think it's really important that when we're going to do a podcast on this, because I think it leads nicely into our values and traditions and about where we think the world's going and things like that. So we'll do a different podcast around that, around AI, making money online, and traditions, values, families, home ed, and all that, because I think it all comes under one umbrella. However, we're being creative. We've taken on a new challenge.
We've jumped in 2 feet.
We've been touching on it for a while, but we're like, let's just do it. Who knows where it may lead to and where we may end up. But we've decided to home ed, and it was day 1 today, and it's been pretty okay. Pretty okay. So we've got take control. We've got communicate with other dads. We've got then commit, and then we've got become creative and. I'm going to / challenge. Okay. So become creative and do challenging things that make you more broaden your horizon. So you're not just fixating on the issues that are going on in your life. I think a lot of dads could learn from the last one, because I think we get so caught up anger and frustrating in not getting access to our children, relationship breakdown. It would have been very easy for you with what went on between me and you last year, for you to get so caught up in that could have stopped you from exploring, becoming more creative and overcoming the challenges, couldn't it? So it's really important that as a dad, you don't get fixed up and hooked up on life and the challenges it brings. I feel like you're going to say something.
I was just thinking about a quote that I heard from...
See, this is intuition.
Yeah.
I knew I could sense it.
Yeah.
I'm a sensor.
Okay. That I heard a few weeks ago, and I think I told you about it. I talked about risks.
Okay.
And it was, if you've got £10, risk it to make 20. And this isn't about making money. You've got to read between the lines here. But if you've got £10, risk it to make 20, because you know you can always make 10. What I mean,
said that yesterday. This one last week. You said this yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
And
We're getting old real quick.
But it's really stuck with me, because if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always had.
Yep.
You're never going to have anything different. Your results are never going to be different. Your life isn't going to change if you do what you've always done. You have sometimes got to think out the box. You've got to do things that potentially are risky. You could love it, you could hate it. But if you carry on playing it safe in life, and you just stay on your little path, and you don't ever veer off, and you don't ever meet new people or try new things, your life will remain stagnant, boring and unfulfilling.
And I think you can use that in relationships. like in your marriages. Like, I bet, and I would assuredly say that most dads' marriages are stagnant and stale because it's become, we've spoken about it before, roommates, but also nothing's new's happening. Yeah. So then you
it's worth the risk of it's worth the gamble and the risk of trying something different, because if not, you're at the same point you were in the beginning. So the potential is for it to get better or for it to stay the same.
And I had a discussion with someone a few weeks back, and I said to him, you've got to take control of your relationship, because you sitting back expecting your wife to take control, it won't happen. You've got to be the one that leads, takes control. And I think this is why so many dads aren't leaders of their family, because they don't take control. They don't communicate. They don't commit to actions like their word. So they say to their family, we're going to do this, blah, blah, but then there's no follow through. And they don't get challenged or become creative in pushing their family forward. I think that ties in nicely, doesn't it?
It only takes one little suggestion of doing something spontaneous, or, let's do this, or, I'm taking the lead, I've organised this.
I think that's why our relationship, I wouldn't say it's perfect, because it's far from perfect. But I think that's why, like when we did our New York trip, both times we just do booking.com, and we only book the first hotel, don't we?
Yeah.
And then after that we just go along booking.com as we go, and who knows, we turned up in Outer Banks we never heard of before.
But things like that being successful come down to, like you say, communicating and being creative and being willing to try something new, not just sticking to the safety of what old
definitely.
slip.
Old slip. That's it. Are you going to tell that joke or not? If you know me,
Mr. Routine, he likes what he knows.
If you know me, I like routine, I like structure.
He booked this parking garage in New York, and from, we went into the city 3 or 4 times, and you were loath to try any other new garage. So in that respect, you weren't creative, because you liked what you knew, and you knew what you liked.
Well, I liked what I knew, and it worked. And it worked.
Yeah.
Because where we needed to go to, it was essentially...
There wasn't a need to be creative when it came to the car parking garage.
No, because I knew what we were getting. It was the cheapest one, $15 or $45.
But I'll still call you old slip as a joke.
The joke is I'm old slip, because where the garage was, it was on Old Slip Road in South New York.
But you do get a bit more rigid when you get older, or as you get older, you are less willing to...
I'm stubborn.
Go out of the box.
I
don't think it's stubborn. I don't think it's stubbornness. I think it's you feel comfortable in things that you already know, and some things, especially for someone new.
I think it's hard to create. I think it's hard to make changes when you are getting older, because you're stuck in your ways, aren't you?
Yeah, or you become more stuck in your ways.
You become more stuck in your ways, and I think that becomes stubborn then. But yeah, I do like agree.
When say someone invites you on a night out, and you're like, oh no, I'm at home, I've got my comfy clothes on, and I'm warm.
These people at my age going out, I'm like, why? Like, look at the weather now. It's cold.
Can we think of anything worse?
Oh, no, we're so old. Like on Saturday, we had a free night, didn't we?
Yeah.
On Saturday, our little one went and stopped at the mother-in-law's, and we had a free night. What did we do? We ended up going for a date afternoon at Costco.
We went to Costco. We went and had a game of pool, and then we went to go and see a film. Yeah. And we were back at home by like 8 o'clock.
And we was in bed by out. No, we went to bed late last night, didn't we? No, we didn't. No, we went to bed late because we couldn't sleep well, could we?
Yeah, we were still a bit jet lagged.
Yeah, we were jet lagged, weren't we?
But yeah, that's our idea of a good day, afternoon, and then you get a nice early night.
Yeah, definitely. But I do believe as you get older, you just get set in
your ways. Be creative and go outside the box.
Yeah, don't take it to a nice restaurant. Go to Costco.
Yeah. Keep me on my toes.
She's a lucky girl.
I love a jacket potato.
I know, yeah. I had a whole chicken, it was banging. Okay, so dads, let's wrap this up. I think it's very easy as dads to moan and whine about certain situations we're in. And sometimes that your situation does warrant that. Things might not be going your way. Things might be hard. Things might be really, really taken a toll on you. But look at it as the bigger picture. Okay, have you controlled the situation or part of the situation, or what you can control? Have you started communicating with other like-minded people, other dads, sharing your experience? Because a problem shared is a problem halved. I asked that because I didn't know what the other bit was.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought you were just being clever.
No. So I'm glad you knew that. Have you made the commitment then to take actions in dealing with the situation you're in? What actions can you do? Have you wrote lists down and prioritised the list of actions that you can do? And then number 4, have you started to become more creative and do new challenges so you're not stubborn, you're not set in your ways, you're not becoming boring? And I think a lot of these 4 C's that we've just created today on this podcast can really help in your relationship with your wife, relationship with yourself, relationship with your children. And I think these 4 C's really determine a man to start becoming a leader of his family.
And that's a great thing to start the new year off.
Definitely. Guys, if you like this podcast, please share it. Please like it. I want to see more comments on our podcast because it really helps with the algorithm. And as always, guys, join my Tired Group community. It's in a Discord server group called Tired Dad Community, and in there we're having dads talk, discuss, share. We've got sections on Relationship Corner. We've got side strategy hustle, side hustle strategies, and we also got a fitness section in there to help you overcome the 3 things that make you a better leader: your fitness, your family, and your finance. Guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Tired Dad Podcast.
Bye.